It was a Sunday night. It started with drinking and then smoking pot and then driving. And before the night was over, I had hit another car on the freeway. I fled the scene of an accident, fled the scene, was confronted with a Michigan State Trooper at my door about an hour later, and I ended up being arrested by him, assaulting him, fleeing his custody briefly before finally surrendering. Spent the first 2 nights in the Canton, Michigan Police Jail, and under suicide watch. I had asked them to put me on suicide watch because I didn't trust myself, not to harm myself. And then the next 3 days in the Wayne County Jail in downtown Detroit. It's the old Wayne County Jail, the dungeon. And you know, it was without any doubt the most painful and shameful and anguishing week of my entire life. There were many, many thoughts of, you know, hanging a bed sheet from, you know, the ceiling of that cell and just ending it all. That was that painful, and I really felt that whatever temporary pain I would feel from hanging would be far better than, you know, the pain, the emotional pain that I was going through at the time. I was mocking God with my lifestyle. On the one hand, I was going to church, I was even reading the Bible, I was praying, I was involved in ministry. But on the other hand, you know, I couldn't go more than a day without smoking dope, and I couldn't go more than 2 days without drinking. And so I was kind of wearing the mask. You know, I was playing the role of the Christian, while on the other side I was, you know, I was an addict. I was in active addiction. Those two things didn't work, you know, and eventually something had to give. We serve a God who will not be mocked, and you know, He will bring disaster upon us if He feels it's necessary to bring us back into a right relationship with Him, and that's what happened with me. He had put shots across my bow many, many times. As I look back and I see, whoa, wow, that was a warning sign. That was a warning sign, you know, until finally He put a torpedo in my port side and almost sank me. But you know, God also knows how much we can take, and you know, He knows what we need and when we need it, and He'll never give us more than we can handle. And in my situation, He gave me just what I could handle. Any more would have been destructive and not disastrous. I really got through it through the help of my closest friends, my best friends who stuck with me, and you know, people that loved me unconditionally and still saw good in me, and you know, that was crucial, especially during the early days. That was huge. You know, I had a lot hanging over my head for a few months there. I mean, I was charged with 3 felonies. You know, I was looking at prison time. You know, there's been so much good that has come out of this whole situation since then. You know, from the judge we got the best judge we could have possibly have gotten. You know, my attorney, and you know, I could have very easily gone to prison. But not only that, I mean, just the people that God has brought into my journey since the disaster has been awesome. You know, a lot of people told me, you know, you better go to 12-step meetings, go to Narcotics Anonymous, you know, you got to look good in front of the judge and blah, 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 blah. You know, she wants to see that, you know, you've been doing something, you know, about your addiction. And so I did. I started going to Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and you know, I remember that first day I walked in there and I just looked around and I just said, oh my gosh, look at all these crackheads and heroin addicts and prostitutes, you know. I mean, like I was better because, hey, I only struggled with alcohol and marijuana, you know. And but you know what, those crackheads and heroin addicts are now my very, very good friends. I love them, and you know, it's just great to be part of that family. And that's just one of so many blessings that God has brought out of this this situation. There are people that are watching this video right now that, for whom this is a shot across their bow. People that struggle with addictions need to know that there is an interesting and fun life to be lived outside of alcohol, outside of drugs. There is a good life to be lived, and God has a plan for each and every one of us. I mean, if he can redeem me, if he can take the mess that I made out of my life and give me the hope in the future that I have, he can do it with anybody.